You're not the hero. You're the problem. Stop carrying the whole load alone. Do you ever feel like everything depends on you to keep jobs moving, to keep customers happy, to keep cash flow alive? Solving problems, answering questions, making decisions, putting out fires, and somehow you're supposed to find time to build leaders too. Let me ask you something. How much longer can you keep carrying all of this alone? Because if your business depends on you for every answer, every decision, and every problem, you don't own a business. The business owns you. It's like your business is your job. And sooner or later, that does come with a cost.
He's not just a coach, he's a leader of leaders. With over 50 years of real-world experience, he's helped business owners double their profits, build leaders from within, and reclaim their time.
A mentor, an author, and a chief reinvention officer who's guided thousands to lead with clarity, confidence, and impact. Please welcome Henry Chidgey.
If you run skill crews, manage operations, or own a business, I know you felt this pressure. The responsibility never seems to stop. Employees need answers, customers need attention, projects need oversight, problems need solutions, and somehow everything seems to land back on your desk. I see typically three common challenges. First, leaders, by design or by accident, have become the solution to every problem. Their teams stop developing and taking ownership. And third, the business becomes dependent on one person, you. The result? Longer hours, more stress, more frustration, more burnout, and even when you leave work, your mind never leaves with you because you're still thinking about tomorrow's problems, still checking messages, still solving issues in your head. The business follows you home, and over time, the pressure becomes exhausting. Here's the good news. You don't have to carry everything yourself. In fact, the strongest businesses are built when leadership responsibility is shared, not dumped, not abandoned, shared, because at the end of the day, you are accountable for everything that happens in your business. The goal isn't to work harder. The goal is to help develop people who can help carry the load. And today I want to show you a leadership shift that changes everything. A shift from being the center of every decision to becoming the builder of capable leaders. So before we continue, if you'd like help leading with more calm, clarity, and consistency, especially during difficult conversations, I put together a free gift called Get Calm, Clear Leadership in 14 Days, and the tagline below that is, without overthinking every hard conversation. You can get it at go.henrychidgey.com. The link is right below here in the YouTube first paragraph. Now let's talk about why so many leaders get trapped carrying everything themselves. Over the years, I've worked with business owners who were incredibly hardworking. They cared deeply about their people. They cared about quality, they cared about customers, and because they cared, they took responsibility for everything. At first, it looked like strong leadership. They solved every problem, answered every question, made every important decision. But eventually, something happened. Their teams stopped growing. People stopped taking initiative. Ownership disappeared, and the leader became overwhelmed. That's when I realized something important. Many leaders aren't carrying everything because they're bad leaders. They're carrying everything because they accidentally trained everyone else not to. And once that pattern develops, the business becomes dependent on them. So here's the first lesson. When you carry everything, your team carries less. Every time a leader automatically takes over, the team learns something. What do they learn? They learn that leadership will eventually step in. They learn that ownership isn't really theirs. And they learn, and this is key, that the safest choice, at least their perception of the safest choice, is to wait. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, because that's the pattern they've been taught by you. When leaders consistently rescue every situation, initiative slowly disappears. People stop thinking ahead. They stop solving problems. They stop stepping up because they expect and have been trained to expect leadership to do it for them. I worked with a business owner and complained that nobody took ownership. Every problem landed back on his desk. Every decision came through him. Every issue required his involvement. But when we observed the business together, we noticed something. Whenever someone attempted to solve a problem, he immediately stepped in and took control. His team wasn't avoiding ownership. They had learned ownership wasn't really theirs. Once he began giving people responsibility and authority and allowing them to solve problems, ownership started growing, and so did confidence. If you're feeling trapped by your business, you're not alone. Many leaders were taught how to work harder. Very few were taught how to develop leaders around them. That's why I created this free leadership gift. Go.henrychidgey.com and the link below and just click on it. Now let's talk about the biggest misunderstanding surrounding delegation. Delegation is not abandonment. This is where many leaders get stuck and make a serious mistake. They believe there are only two choices: control everything or let go completely. But neither option works, because delegation without accountability is abandonment. That's what I mean by abandonment. You delegate, you still got to have accountability. You can't throw responsibility at people and disappear. Real delegation requires leadership. People need clarity, people do need support, and people need follow-through. They need to understand exactly what success, what good looks like, what they own, what authority they have, an agreement about when they're going to check back in, and what standards matter. That's leadership. Delegation is not about removing responsibility. It's about transferring responsibility with support. One supervisor told me he tried delegating before. He said, it never works. But when we looked closer, he wasn't delegating. He was assigning tasks, then disappearing. There were no expectations. There was no coaching. There was no accountability. Once he started creating clear ownership and regular follow-through, performance improved dramatically. Not because the team changed, because the leadership process changed. The next thing is, great leaders multiply themselves. The strongest, most effective leaders understand something most people miss. Leadership isn't about doing more. It's about multiplying capability. Every person you develop increases the strength of your organization. Every future leader you build reduces dependency. Every ownership conversation has the opportunity to create growth. The goal isn't to become indispensable, and I see that happen a lot with owners of small and medium-sized businesses. They build it, they started it from nothing perhaps, and they're so attached to being indispensable to that business, they're not creating the people. The goal is to create people who can carry responsibility with you. That's what TRIP leadership is all about. Trust. Trust people enough to give them responsibility The R is for respect. Respect them enough to coach them clearly. Integrity. Keep accountability consistent. And then purpose. Help people understand why ownership not only matters to the client, not only matters to you, but it matters to them because it gives them another sense of accomplishment in what they do. Because when people understand the purpose behind responsibility, they grow into it. And that's how leadership benches get built. If you're realizing you've been carrying more than you were ever meant to carry, you're not alone. Most leaders were never taught how to build leaders around them, but you can start today. Begin with my free gift, Get Calm, Clear Leadership in 14 days. There's a link right below this video. And if you'd like direct help developing stronger supervisors, building ownership through your organization, and creating a business that doesn't depend on you for everything, book an introduction, free session, I call the free field-tested mentoring sessions, 1 hour long session. Just go to henrychidgey.com and you'll find a way where you can select a time that works for both you and me. Remember this, you cannot build a strong business while carrying the entire load alone. Eventually, something breaks. Your energy, your patience, your relationships, or your leadership. So stop asking, why won't people step up? And start asking, have I actually created space for them to grow? Because leadership isn't about being needed for everything. It's about building people who can carry responsibility with you. The strongest businesses aren't built around one leader. They're built around leaders developing other leaders. Lead with trust, lead with respect, lead with integrity, lead with purpose, and I'll see you on the next one. Go out there and become the leader that you're destined to be. Take care for now.